Hello YouTube. Today I got a cool video for you. We're going to go over 5 species of Apistogrammas that I personally keep and hopefully breed here. 4 of these species are pretty uncommon, actually kind of rare in the hobby. So I'm super excited to show these off. Stay tuned, we're going to see a lot of cool fish. So most of my Apistos I keep in 20 longs. I got a few in 20 talls. But first up we're going to look at Apistogramma ortegii. And the male is allergic to cameras. It's very hard to get this guy on film. The female's lurking around, and she just popped back under there as well. All right, so this fish has kind of an interesting story. So where this fish is collected now, they were collecting there for 20 years and never saw this fish. And the reason for that is they're actually from the Ampiaku River, but when you buy this fish online, it says they're from Pebas. And what happened is they took this fish and moved it closer to Pebas because it was actually pretty far away. And they found some streams and tributaries by Pebas, Peru, and introduced them there so they didn't have to go way out into the wild and collect them. So that's what happened there, which is kind of interesting. But because they've done that, there's different variants, different color morphs, all kinds of confusion. I have what I believe to be true ortegii, as I can see from one of the original pictures of when this fish was collected. I'll pop up on the screen here. You can see that he looks pretty similar. The female is also very stunning. I have him in here with Corydoras, which it can be kind of a distraction if you're trying to breed Corys. You pretty much want to leave that bottom open. And also some L494s. For dithers, my favorite thing is always pencilfish. And we have some aqueous pencilfish up here. And it's really disappointing that this guy is afraid of the camera. Hopefully I can get some nice B-roll of him, sneak up on him later. Now as far as care on these guys, pretty standard, roughly 6.5 pH. You can go higher, you can go a little lower, not too much lower unless you're trying to spawn them. Pretty standard temperature at 74 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. I have found these guys to be extremely hardy. I've had them in a couple different setups now and they really don't seem to fuss too much. Now they do spawn. A lot of people think that Apistos need caves to spawn in, but in my experience they generally pick like little cracks or crevices. I've had them spawn like under the sponge filters where this guy is now, or if we come over to the female here, she seems to have found a spot on the other side of this wood. As we can see, there's lots of cracks and crevices in there, but also I do give them caves just in case there's a cave hidden in here in this dwarf hairgrass. So hopefully they can find a place they like in this 20 long. All right, next up we have my favorite, my new favorite. I say it's probably a tie with the Apistogramma benchii, but this is Apistogramma hoignii, and we have one down here, and then also another one right here. And this fish is one of the rare fish. They're usually only collected every couple 2 to 4 years. So when I saw these, I had to get them. They're absolutely stunning. And I actually got 2 pairs of them. So I have a pair in this tank. I have another pair in a 20 tall. And for them being so rare, I found them to be some of the most robust species of Apistos I've ever kept. And they're also large. They get very big for an Apisto. You know, some people say 3.5, 4 inches, so I'm curious to see how big they get. They're waiting for me to drop in some food, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. See if we can get them to come out. They don't tend to be as shy as the ortegii. As you can see, here's this guy. They have these really nice like yellow bodies that fade into silver. And then the red on the fins is just incredible. Those 2 red stripes, I love them. These guys aren't as colorful as my other pair. The other pair I keep in this mess here, and you can see there's one underneath. Here he comes. Yeah, this guy, when this guy fires up, he's really beautiful. I just put some food in there. Now this is my spawning group of orange lasers in here, which are some of the most shy Corys I've ever seen. But this guy is a stunner. There's all kinds of caves under this moss and algae. Yeah, this guy's really beautiful. This is my favorite Apisto in the fish room right now. And when I mean they're robust, I have kept these down into the low 70s. This tank is in the bottom of the rack, which usually hangs around 70 to 71 degrees. And they can also go up to 84, so really good if you want to put them in like a discus tank. They can handle that warm water, no problem. These were first collected in 1964 by Leo Hoigney, and they just don't make it into the hobby very often. So like I said, I had to pick up 2 pairs. Hopefully I start getting some fry out of them. They come from the Rio Orinoco in Colombia and Venezuelan. And pH, again, very wide range, 5 all the way up to like 7.5 is going to be no problem for these guys. This tank is also sitting at a little lower pH than the other tank, so I'm keeping them at different parameters. Again, trying to figure out what their trigger is to get them to spawn. Back to the pair in the 20 long here. I just scared them off, but as you can see, again, keeping them with some beautiful pencil fish. There's also some orange hatchet danios, and I've kind of let this tank go. I'm trying not to bother them, doing minimal water changes, which is why I'm starting to get some algae in here now, unfortunately. And then also, again, have them in here with some more Corydoras. These are Corydoras sea tree, often confused with Corydoras astropersonata. So next up, we're gonna have the most common species on my list, and I am in love with these guys. This is Apistogramma trifasciata. You can see him in the lower right-hand corner, the male. He's looking for food, and we will oblige and throw some in here. And the blues on this guy are just amazing. Look at that sheen. They have the really, I call them spiked dorsal fins. They have like the little mohawks. Now these guys actually have them in with pseudomagills. So there's 2 males and 2 females in here. This is a smaller species, so I keep 2 paired here. This is going to be about max size, just about 2¼ inches. You can see the female right below them. And then there's another pair that hangs out on this side, and we have some Aspidoras here. There's also some Corydoras bosemani in here, but they never come out, not even for food. Here's the other female. And again, you know, not a pristine tank. We've got some algae in here. There's stargrass in there, some anubias. And this is just how I keep my apistos. I don't like crystal clean tanks for apistos. I like the algae, I like the botanicals, and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a pretty common theme here, although one of the tanks is actually really bad. I let it go a little too far, and we'll see that later. But look at this guy, just an absolute stunner of a fish. The orange tips on the dorsal fin. Now the trifasciata actually prefer very still waters, so not a lot of flow. They also prefer dim lighting, which is why we have lots of plants, lots of cover, and the light is turned down pretty far, and they just really enjoy this tank. I'm hoping we can have some of the bosemani cories come out, because they're beautiful too. Now just to note, there are a few color forms of the trifasciata, so don't be alarmed if you see that. However, there are some rumors that they're actually going to be separated into their own A number. So like Corydoras have their own C or CW numbers, and plecos have L numbers. Apistos have A numbers. So currently there's a few different color forms, but they might get separated into their own species at a later date when more work is done on the taxonomy. All right, next up we have the Apistogramma personata, and this is the tank I was talking about that's not doing that great. We had a blue-green algae explosion, and we took out most of the hardscape and left a few of the plants in there, and are now treating it to kill all of that off. It's very annoying. Again, Apistogramma personata, they're in here with Imperial Lapis tetras, which are just absolutely stunning. Every once in a while you'll see that blue sheen on them. The camera does not pick it up as well as the naked eye, but that's what those guys are, and that's it. And here's the male starting to come out, and these guys are just chunks. This dude is a chunky apisto, and let's see if I can lure him out with some food here. Of all of my apistos, this is the hard one to research. There is basically nothing on the internet. There's a lot of anecdotal stuff on the internet, a lot of stuff on forums asking about them, but just not a lot of info on them. So if you know anything about these fish, I would love to learn. Let me know what you know, because man, I had to look up where they come from to get water parameter information on them. They're just not very common, and he does not want to come out, which is very unfortunate. He's been pouting ever since we took everything out of his tank, and now he just sits under there and pouts. He doesn't even want to come out for food. Let's throw a little more in there, see Okay, actually now some's falling down. We'll see if he comes out. So one thing you'll find in common with all my Apisto tanks is sand. Apistos are technically earth eaters, so they will sift through the sand. They love just digging for food. They'll do it regularly. They're not gonna be like a Drupari or like a Geophagus that's doing it non-stop, but they definitely do sift through the sand. Come on, buddy, come on out, show off this dorsal fin. He's got a beautiful orange dorsal fin. It's just absolutely stunning. Maybe we'll just let him be. But again, Apistogramma personata, let me know what you know, because I'd love to learn, like I said. All right, so here we have a 20 tall with a bunch of random hardscape in there, but here we go, right here is gonna be the Apistogramma urethra. This is a beautiful, beautiful fish. If we could get him a side profile there. Really nice silver body, has a black horizontal stripe and just a really red fin there, which is just amazing. I do love a good spade tail on the Apistos, and these guys have them. There's a trio in here. I'm not sure where the females are bebopping around, but the male is always out and about. These were originally actually sold as trifasciata back in the day, and it didn't take them long to figure out that, hey, this is a separate, completely separate species. So now they've been separated. These come from Bolivia, which is kind of neat. And water temperature on these guys, about 72 to 82, you know, 6.5 to 7.5 pH will do just fine. We'll probably have to lower that a little bit to get them to spawn. But this, while not the most colorful Apistogramma out there, I think that red tail is just really striking, and I have fallen in love with these guys immediately when I saw them. You can see this guy is not camera shy. And again, this is pretty much a no-nonsense, just breeding setup for these guys as I try to get them to spawn. There are some alder cones in here to lower the pH. The water is a little stained in tannins, but not yet. I still got a ways to go there. And hopefully you can see a female in the reflection back there. But again, just another rarer species. You know, I mean, we all love and know Cockatoides and Hongsloi. I've got Hongsloi in here as well, so I've got some of the common species too. But I'm just wanting to show off a couple of my favorite species here that you don't really see that often. All right, folks, there you go. 5 species of Apistogrammas. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're looking at picking some of these up for yourself, I've got links down below for Dan's Fish and Wet Spot Tropical Fish. You save a little money if you use my discount code, so check that out. And if you have any information on any of these species, let me know down below what your thoughts are. I'm definitely always interested in learning more about the fish I keep. But that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.